Hi everyone, Psychic Medium Melissa Throw, the Paranormal Priestess here. Today's video is going to be one that I feel that so many of you really need right now. With the devastating hurricanes that have been happening everywhere from Houston, Texas to Cuba and currently hitting Florida. It's just been a very difficult time to deal with, and I know many of you like me, have been feeling the effects mentally and emotionally of what's happening. Many of you may have family members who are in Florida or Houston. It's been very difficult to watch the news and just see the pictures of the impact and the state of emergency that Florida is currently in right now it's very scary, very scary. So this video though is not going to be stooped in the fear or the worry of what's happening, but rather I wanted to make a video that would hopefully inspire those of you who are light workers, who are twin flames, who are very spiritual, to know that there is something that you can do. There is. And I thought a lot about this, about how I wanted to actually present this video. I know so many of you are used to me giving angelic messages, or giving messages regarding just solely the twin flame journey. But this video really, I think, will speak so much about just everyone and unity consciousness. And that's what I really want to bring. I want to bring us all together. We're all going through this, despite whether we are miles away, we are feeling it. We are feeling the energy of this. And, you know, we're all together on this planet. And when things happen like this, we want to really pull together, and we really want to be able to spread our light and give our light as people who are on the path. And that is so much a part of being a twin flame, being a light worker, someone who is awakened, who is conscious. It's so important, and it really is a reminder that we really truly are here to give our light, to give our love. And it's times like these where that's most important. Just coming from my own spiritual path, for those of you who don't realize, I am on the Druidic path. I follow the old Celtic path. This had started with Wicca, and it transitioned into Druidry due to having the remembrance of being a Druid in another lifetime. And I can say that just from the standpoint of being on the Celtic path, the Druidic standpoint, that being spiritual is all about being able to be of service to the earth, okay? And that means being of service to all of the earth and truly giving back to the community. Druids really do, and you know, many other spiritual paths do as well. I am just speaking from my own personal path. I am also Christian as well, for those of you who are wondering, so I do make that work for me. But being a Druid definitely, it really allows someone to go inside and to really find inspiration and reflection and transformation. And that spirit, that inspiration or creation, known as the Awen, we tap into the Awen, and that Awen, that source of inspiration, really is the driving force behind all that we do. And sometimes it really takes that darkness, those dark times, those tragedies, those mishaps, those really tough experiences, it takes that to really help us to find our core and find our inspiration, our creativity again, to really delve into ourselves and connect very strongly with divinity. okay? To be able to find that again, so that way we can feel it ourselves, and then we can offer that back into the world and find that unity or that connection, that trinity that you always see in Celtic art. I'm wearing the Triskill right now, which is a very Druidic symbol, but it even predates the Celts. The Triquetra is another one, which is the threefold, or it could represent many things. Unity is one of them, land, sky, and sea. And it's just really important to Druids to really reach out and to affect their communities, affect the earth, connect with the earth and all its inhabitants. So I wanted to make this video to perhaps inspire some of you out there who are stemmed in fear after watching the news, or perhaps, you know, very worried about family members who had to evacuate. Are they okay? And the concern is completely understandable. But I wanted to make this video to try to help people to shift out of the worry and the fear and to come into a place of connection and unity, and to recognize their own light so that way they can send that out. It's really important to be able to really help our fellow man and woman. And in times like these, despite that you may be miles and miles away, we are all in this together. And you know, because of all the major shifts that have been happening with the earth, and of course you guys have been with me throughout this as I've talked about the major cosmic events, especially this summer. The Mother Earth is really kind of in a tailspin, literally. And so all of these really drastic weather changes and the changes within people too, it's very chaotic right now. And so what people really could use now, especially those in Florida right now, is to send that earth energy, that stability energy, to connect with Mother Earth, and to send that loving energy of earth, that peaceful, grounded, stable energy, and to send that energy of healing and sanctuary and strength and endurance, to send that over to those who need it right now because of the devastating effects of the hurricanes. And so you may want to do something like I did. You don't have to, but again, this is just meant to inspire you. I lit a green candle, if you can see, on my altar. I also have Archangel Michael, because of course I work with the angels, but I also work with the Celtic deities as well as Jesus Christ. And I lit both candles on my altar. I have the green candle with the Mother Goddess and the Father God. Okay, and the green candle is for Earth. And for the Druids, it's kind of like, if any of you have heard of the runes, the Nordic runes, we have an alphabet known as the Agam, which is based on the trees. And so different trees are associated with the different letters, and they also have divinatory meanings as well. And so what I did is that I carved into this green candle the sign of the oak, the Agam of the oak, the Agam of the apple, and the Agam of the grove. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Celtic path at all, again, this is only to just inspire you to do whatever feels right for you, but this is what felt right for me. I had used the oak. The oak is a tree that is very strong, very strong rooted. It's very hard to knock down an oak tree, really, because it's strong. Like, it's harder to knock down an oak tree. Oak tree is very stable tree, so it's meant to represent strength. And so I did carve in the candle the oak, or called dwar. And I wanted that energy of strength to go out to those who are suffering from, you know, this terrible weather. And I also carved into it the agam of the apple known as quartz. And quartz, the Isle of Apples, like such as in Avalon, the apple is very healing. It's like a spiritual sanctuary. It just really brings you into peace. And I just felt like that's the type of energy that's definitely needed right now. And that goes very well with strength, to have the strength, the endurance to stay strong and stable, and to also have peace and find sanctuary or find safety. Whether that's safety inside, whether that's safety finding, shelter and evacuation, just being able to be safe from all harm. And I also carved the agam of the grove. Now the grove is specifically very, very important to Druidry, because the grove is basically a bunch of trees that are freestanding. And the grove really represents oneness consciousness for the Druids. It's a place to really just bring that unity together. It's where the Druids actually performed their ceremonies. They considered it very, very sacred. And so I felt like that was a perfect carving to also place on this candle, because it's all about staying together now and to unify. And energetically, we can all unify and play our part in sending that kind of energy, that strong endurance, that unity consciousness, that connection, and to send healing, peace, and sanctuary. So I really feel like connecting with Mother Earth right now is an excellent, excellent way of just being able to do something, to connect with Mother Earth and to send that loving, stable earth energy to ground these storms, to ground these hurricanes, to somehow work with prayer, work with connection with Mother Earth. Times like these always call for prayer. Whether it's prayer, Christian prayer, whether it's pagan prayer, whether it's Jewish prayer, whether it's Buddhist prayer. I am definitely a person who really, really believes that as long as it's good, as long as it's divine, all spiritual paths really do have their place. It's important to unify and respect other spiritual paths. It's good to exchange knowledge with each other and learn more about other spiritual paths. If they're good, then I truly am open to all spiritual paths. I've always been this way, and I still, of course, feel this way. It truly is about unity, especially with the New Earth. The New Earth is all about unity. Okay, so I definitely don't subscribe to, denouncing other people's faiths or what makes them happy or what makes them feel good. As long as it's good and it's not harming themselves or harming others, we really truly need to come together. And that's what I was really, really reflecting on, especially the other night before I made this video, is that I wanted to do a video that perhaps inspired people to come together. So I myself did prayers with the Earth Goddess, sending prayers of stability and sanctuary and healing and oneness. I lit a candle in that honor. I put a very woodland type of smell oil on there. I anointed the candle with. Also apple I put on there. And I just really focused on sending that stable energy to those who need it right now because of the hurricanes. I really feel that it's best to not allow ourselves to get caught up so much in worry and stress. So it's not that to say that we are not concerned, and that's not to say that we do not feel absolute compassion for what is happening. For those who, they're losing their homes, they have to evacuate, pets are in trouble as well. It's very dangerous situation. But I'm always one that I feel not to get caught up in the fear, because you don't want to stay in that lower energy. As someone who is awakened, you want to present yourself as a leader, a good-natured leader that spreads divine energy. So I want you to think about that. So if any of you have really been just completely overwhelmed and stressed out by what has been happening in Florida, in Houston, Cuba, it's very much understandable, but they really need your loving energy right now. And the only way you can really send that out is really being able to connect with divinity in the way that feels good to you, and to really send that energy, pay it forward. For those of you who are Reiki practitioners, this would be a fantastic time to send that Reiki there. For those of you who use other types of healing modalities, those who work with elemental energy, for all healing modalities, to send it long distance, filled with love, filled with support, and filled with faith. This is really going to assist people right now. And this is most definitely a part of mission. Okay? Because I think some people lose the idea that, oh, well, let's take Twin Flames, for example. We have this specific mission together, which is true. But I think some people lose sight of the fact that your mission is to really be that vessel of love and that vessel of peace. And the only way that can really happen is what I usually say is through self-mastery. And the only way to achieve self-mastery really is by finding a really firm connection, strong connection with the divinity, and to be able to recognize that within yourself. Okay? So it really is a part of mission to be able to send that. Sorry about the sirens going by here. New York, but I just want to remind people of that there is most definitely something positive that they can do. And also, coming from the Druidic standpoint, is that we find creativity, we find creative outlets, we find creative ways of expressing our emotions. And that's a very healthy thing to do. So some of you who are creative, maybe you want to write. You can maybe, either if journaling is not your thing, I write poetry. I find it just a great way of just allowing myself to empty and to express myself and what I'm feeling. And I feel a lot lighter, and I feel like I can make sense of a lot of things a lot more when I do that. So there's that, and that of course can also translate into songwriting for those of you who are musical. I know that I used to do that all the time because I used to be a singer in a band, and I wrote a lot of songs, and I definitely noticed that it was a lot of the very difficult experiences throughout my life where I really was driven to write. Like that passion was there because it was it was very therapeutic. It was a way of really dealing with things in a positive manner. So that might also be a really great idea right now for those of you who are finding it very hard to cope with what's happening. You might just want to, find a positive outlet, a positive release. So I hope that perhaps this is supporting those who are in worry right now. I ask those who are spiritual on the path watching this, whether you're a twin flame, whether you're a light worker and not on the twin flame path, it doesn't matter. But I especially ask that those who are awakened, who are spiritual, who are connected with Source, to please come together in prayer today and really send that out. Really send that out. And if you feel inspired to do some sort of like little ceremony like I have, great. If you are inspired to, take a walk where you live, that, in nature, that might be a great idea too. I did do that today. Of course, in New York, it's very calm, beautiful weather. I went out into the park, one of my favorite parks that have plenty of groves in it. And I really gave thanks for what was in my life. I really just connected with the trees, connected with the water, land, sky, and sea I basically connected with. And also, while doing that, I brought in the unity consciousness or the grove consciousness, and I really sent that energy out to those in need, especially in Florida right now. So I felt like it was beautiful. I didn't need any tools. Some of the most beautiful rituals or beautiful ceremonies don't need to require any type of tool, because the elements are all out there. And of course, you have your connection with divinity, and your intention is there. So that energy absolutely will get to its destination. So I don't want to keep this too long, but again, for those of you who have family who you are very worried about in the state of Florida, especially right now, my heart goes out to you, my energy goes out to you, my concern, my compassion, most certainly my prayers, and I hope that perhaps you can turn that fear and that worry and that stress, which is those negative low vibrations, if you can turn that into strength and inspiration and creativity, and know that you can most definitely have a positive impact on the earth right now, just by your intention. That's pretty much it. For those of you who really feel like they want to leave comments down below, please definitely do. That's a part of unity. It's a part of the grove. That's part of what we're here to do as people of light. So please feel free. TheParanormalPriestess.com is my website. I'm on Facebook, The Paranormal Priestess. I'm also on Twitter at ParaPriestessYT, and my personal Twitter is at Para_Priestess. So that's it for now. Many, many bright blessings of the balance of land, sky, and sea, of unity, and most definitely may love and light be across the beautiful earth right now. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next week.